Hi there, it's Christopher. Welcome back to the channel. Uh, Jasper is over here. He's taking a breather. Is that our name? Of sleeping. We are in my home studio here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I've been using home studios pretty much my whole life. And what anyone will tell you who has a home studio is that they're constantly upgrading, changing, and improving things, or at least wanting to. And my studio's been in this configuration for a few years, since before the pandemic. And felt like the spring is going to be the time to do a few serious upgrades in here to improve the sound, improve the usability, and so on. So I'm going to be creating a series of videos because it won't all fit into one video. It'll just be way too long. And it's also going to be taking place over a few months. I'm not going to magically transform my studio over a weekend. It's going to take, a few months. So I think I'll break this into a series. Part one, what you're watching right now, will give you a tour of the way it is currently before changing anything. And in part two, you'll join me on the work of ripping things apart and building things and upgrading things. In part three, take you through a tour of the hopefully much improved version of my studio in that time. So let's get going with this part one. We'll take you on a tour of this studio the way it is right now. All right, so this is my home studio the way it is right now. Hey, Jasper. And I'll just take you for a quick tour around the way it's set up, maybe a thought process on why it is set up the way it is, and touch on some of the things that I'm hoping to improve in the next version of this. So I'm in the basement of the house I have with my family. So you can see we have a lovely washer and dryer and beer fridge over there because this is what life is like with a home studio when you have a family. There's also this like family printer that everybody comes down and uses. And then you have a bunch of my music gear all around in here. There's a window to outside. There's a door to my kids' room downstairs here. And a bunch of music and stuff, and TV, music collection, and so on. So my music desk, which this thing is an IKEA jerker desk that I've had since I was 17 years old. Bought it for when I left home and went off to university. Still have it and still using it. This is the primary thing that I'm hoping to replace as part of my studio upgrade. For the first time in like decades, I'm going to have an actual studio desk with a pull-out drawer for my keyboard and stuff. But anyway, for right now, this is my work desk. Not only for music, but my day job as a service designer. I'm in client meetings and Zoom calls and everything else. This is where I'm doing it all from, is from this desk. It's my MacBook Pro. I've got a Machina under here, as well as a Thunderbolt dock there. And I don't know if you can see it there, but that's my Apollo Twin. That's my audio interface. It's under there. And I have a monitor, my webcam. And then on either side here, on stands, I've got Event 6. They're called Project 6 studio monitors. And I've had these since late 90s, I think. So again, area where I'm hoping to upgrade when I have my new setup. But I've had these things forever. They're sitting on some ISO pucks on stands. And that's my monitoring situation. Some pictures on the wall behind the desk here. Above and to the sides, I've got some acoustic foam that I inherited from a friend who needed to move and had to get rid of some stuff. So I've had this stuff for a while. It was not something I picked, but I did try to use it to make a much of a reflection-free zone around the mix desk as I could. That's basically all I've got in here for acoustic treatment. Again, something I want to improve on in the next version down here. Off to the side here, I've got some storage, IKEA Kallax bookshelf thing, and there's this little stand thing here. Has my inbox and stuff on it. Mic stands. So my microphone is a Neumann 102. That's my vocal mic. Then over here, it's my Rolly Seaboard that I acquired recently. an old Tascam 8-track reel-to-reel, which I also acquired recently. Technically, it's a 7-track, not an 8-track, because I can't get track 8 to record anything. But super cool, and I love using it. And just some lights over there with Eddie and Noel over there in the corner, keeping me company. This is my mixer. I bought this used a few years ago. This is a vintage 90s Yamaha O2R 24-channel mixer that I basically use as a sub-mixer for all my keyboards and a few other things, but that's basically what this is. I was lucky enough when I bought it, it even came with a meter bridge, which is pretty cool. But I'm also handily, it works with the 8-track because they're kind of the same vintage, so they work well together. I've got a peg board where I keep some, headphones and so on, and a couple of pocket operators on the side there. So yeah, stuff I use all the time, just sort of keep here so I can easily grab it. And some stuff up on the window ledge here, Lego guitar, all my Beatles collection, and pictures of my kids, and a inspiration board, a bunch of my favorite artists, people have really influenced me. I'll get into that another time, but I keep that up there. And then if I slide over a little bit more, it's my keyboard wall. So I've got analog keyboards from the 80s here. So Roland JX3P, my Ensoniq XQ80, an Oberheim OBXA, which does not work. I keep it around so that someday I'll be able to afford to have it refurbished and restored, like someone would restore their old Mustang or something. But that, and also have an emulator 2 underneath, which is also dead, which I'm also hoping to restore at some point. So I'm hanging on to these, even though they're not functional right now. And then my Yamaha Montage 8, which is very much operational. It's my main hardware keyboard that I use for all kinds of things. It's an amazing keyboard. So all of these are plugged in through the mixer, through the Apollo into my recording software. And you can see up above there I have a Stratocaster. This is actually a Japanese Fujigen Stratocaster. It's an excellent Strat. And then over here I've got my EVH 5150 amp and 4x12 stack. And I have this 2 notes torpedo in the corner here to act as an attenuator, so it brings the volume of this down to a manageable level so I can use it in here. And my pedal board sort of underneath here. So that's routed to the 5150, and the 5150 goes into the torpedo, and then the torpedo goes into the mixer, and the mixer goes into the audio interface, and the audio interface goes into my mixing, or my software on my computer. And a bunch of guitars here that I use. I've got a IKEA bookshelf here full of books. This used to be more organized than it is now. I'll need to do some more organization here, but the reason why this is here, amongst other reasons, is when I was laying out this studio, I had read that the most ideal place to put your mixing position in a more or less rectangular room is to have this on the far end of the long way of the room. So not against this wall, which is the long side, but against the short side here, put it up against that wall. So it has the most room for the sound waves to travel from the speakers. And then on the other side of where you put your mix desk is to put something like a bookcase full of books to act as a diffuser. So when the sound is coming from your monitors past you, they'll hit your books, your makeshift diffuser, and sort of spread the waves around, kind of thing. So put this here. I'll probably be putting a bigger version of this here in the new version of the studio. But anyway, bookshelf. I've got some old drum machines and a Casio SK1 sampler over there, just to display them, basically. It's my collection of CDs that I've bought over time. I still keep this with me, even though I have stuff digitized. I still like having the hardware versions of all the CDs I've got. And if I come around here, I've got a couple of guitar hangers. So in addition to the one that's there and the one in the corner, I've got these two that are hanging here. Got this one in New York just very recently, at Rudy's Music, which is so fun. And then it's my EVH-ish guitar that I bought in Japan. I was there about 10 years ago. And then TV with the PlayStation that my son plays all the time, and my collection of vinyl, record player, and collection of old audio playing devices that I've had over time. These are my old Walkman, my old CD man, and so on. And that's pretty much the space. Bunch of different lamps in here. I'm in a basement and it's dark, but I spend so much time in here between work and music that I have lots of light in here. And I control all the lights. They're all plugged into an outlet that's controlled by Google Home, so I can turn things on and off by voice command, basically. Underneath this desk, which I think was originally a drafting desk, it's not my desk. It was here when I got here. I'm using it to put these pieces of equipment on here, but underneath I've got some extra old keyboards like a Korg DW8000 and a Casio CZ101. This is my Oberheim DMX that goes with the OBXA. This still works and I still use it. It's awesome. And my ukulele, a few other things in there. That's pretty much the studio. So what I'm hoping to do is basically keep this similar function or a similar kind of layout in here, but I want to replace the desk with an actual studio desk that'll be able to fit my montage as a keyboard in a drawer that pulls out, so I can just play it directly on here. And position the desk a bit more optimally in the room, build some DIY bass traps so that have better sound absorption, better acoustics in here, and place them where I need them to be placed. Clean this up a bit, have a better place to hang my guitars and so on. But I think as long as I can clean up the desk, have a better desk, have some real acoustic treatment in here, and make some, more room in here for that. That's going to be my goal, in addition to maybe just, organizing and cleaning this up a little bit more in here. That's going to be my goal for this spring. And I'm looking forward to actually being able to pull stuff apart and make a better place out of it, and then put stuff back together again and get back to making music. Hey, what do you think?